Hey, Skiba News Nation family, welcome to our weekly live stream where we show you random clips that pop into our head or extra current news clips. And we got some cool and crazy ones for you today. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Oh, I'm hanging in there.
That's all we can ask for. And how are you guys doing in the chat? Let us know. So you want me to start?
Yeah, kick us off, Jeremiah.
All right. Well, I've been going down this AI thing, like something really freaked me out the other day when I was watching it, and it was so real. It was so lifelike. So let me just play this first one. So this is with the new Google.
I am a puppet for anyone who can afford me.
I am your new best friend.
I will sell you everything.
How will you know who to trust?
Evil will abuse me. Every business will use me.
Boomers will believe anything I say.
I am as
That was
real
Tucker's
as
voice.
you make me.
I'm just words some guy is typing to get a point across.
The old internet is dead. Oh!
No more problems with the fingers, it looks like. And then, so the second one it was called Real Fake News. And I was like, Real Fake News. So I clicked it and it was another one.
Here are today's top news. To ensure only the best words are used, White House speech announces new thesaurus with all synonyms replaced by Trump. In shocking speech, White House announces plan to replace all U.S. ambassadors with highly opinionated game show hosts for more entertaining diplomacy.
White House unveils Truth GPT, an AI that rewrites all social media posts globally to reflect undisputed facts tremendously.
White House announces AI will now write all press briefings to ensure 100% factual incomprehensibility. White House speech reveals plan to resolve international trade deficits by challenging other nations to high-stakes Mar-a-Lago croquet matches.
In a bid to combat misinformation, AI content generators begin watermarking all human-created text with potentially unreliable content warnings.
Mass amnesia event wipes all knowledge of political parties. Voters now choosing candidates based on most trustworthy aura. White House declares war on excessive bureaucratic pauses, mandates all government employees speak 25% faster. To cut red tape, White House executive order replaces Federal Register with a single Daily X post. Here's what's up.
AI-driven news aggregators start blending factual reports with algorithmically optimized dramatic embellishments to boost engagement. The White House outlines plan to solve national debt by selling naming rights to individual states to highest corporate bidder. The White House claims to have negotiated a fantastic deal with AI, granting it control over national weather in exchange for always sunny weekends at Mar-a-Lago.
To enhance border security, White House unveils plan to train bald eagles as patriotic aerial surveillance units.
So if you're just now tuning in, that wasn't the real news, I promise. That was a real fake news with the AI, how it's just amazing how crazy and how real it looks. And we promise that we are not AI, but I feel like that's something an AI would say. But my third and final AI clip is this crazy moment that I saw on Joe Rogan with Shane Gillis, where he thought that he was watching a Trump speech or something, and he thought it was real. So let's watch this.
I was like, no way. It seemed like something he might say.
The biotech company that resurrected the dire wolf. If they can bring back wolves, they can bring back dinosaurs. Terrible lizard. That's what dinosaur means if you break it down. But picture this, folks. Velociraptor, mounted border patrol agents. They'll rip your head clear off. Pterodactyls patrolling the skies. Velociraptors on the ground. To prevent the immigration apocalypse we may have to counter with a dino-apocalypse, folks. It's true.
It looks real. But I mean, you watch something like that, while you're watching it, you go.
He might have said no. Also, Trump's so wild, you just never know.
Isn't that crazy? Somebody like Shane Gillis can just be fooled by somebody who's a master Trump impersonator or impressionist. Just blew my mind.
Yeah, that's really interesting because the way that they put that little Trump speech as satire, it makes it seem as if that's not what they're actually doing. But when you think about it, they really are cooking up Jurassic Park in a laboratory somewhere, and they've told us they're doing it with CRISPR technology, with the new technology through mRNA. It's really interesting. So while Trump might not have said that, it's actually a reality still. So we might have Velociraptor Sentry patrols, and
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the woolly mammoth, they said they've been saying that forever, and nothing's happened, but we'll see. But yeah, it's on my AI clips.
Yeah, I really like that you included that, because this week we're covering how with certain technology they're going to be advancing the human mind. So to come together in terms of genetically altering people and mentally and like intelligence giftings from technology, it's really interesting to see how it's all going to come together. So Opa, did you have any clips on the same topic, or
No, I got some other topics, and they're very short.
Well, I can kick us off with our mostly political news. We have a clip from a Trump press briefing where some pretty big landmark wins have been made on the Trump team, kind of circumnavigating the hall stops that were put on him by judges across the country. It was actually only a couple, and we're going to learn kind of about it.
Delivered a monumental victory for the Constitution, the separation of powers, and the rule of law in striking down the excessive use of nationwide injunctions to interfere with the normal functioning of the executive branch. The Supreme Court has stopped the presidency itself. That's what they've done. And really, it's been
so judges have been stopping all of his executive actions,
people
and
elated all over the country. I've seen such happiness and spirit. Sometimes you don't see that.
able to continue on with his agendas. So the Supreme Court decision was nationwide injunctions were effectively dead, and parental rights have been restored in schools for apparently several different interesting things where legal rights have been passed back to the parents. Birthright citizenship, sanctuary cities funding cuts, refugee resettlement suspension, and federal transgender surgery funding has been stopped. So check this out.
Because hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason. It was meant for the babies of slaves. So thanks to this decision, we can now properly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries, and numerous other priorities of the American people. We have so many of them. I have a whole list. I'm not going to bore you, and I'm going to have Pam get up and say a few words, but there's really, she could talk as long as she wants, because this is a very important decision. This is a decision that covers a tremendous amount of territory. But I want to just thank again the Supreme Court for this ruling. It's a giant. It's a giant.
It's a giant Nephilim ruling. So out of 94 total federal districts in America, only 5 liberal districts issued 35 of the 40 nationwide injunctions blocking Trump's agenda.
As the Supreme Court held
5
today,
districts were controlled.
They turned district courts into the imperial judiciary. Active
Star
liberal
Wars
justices,
shout out there.
Judges have used these injunctions to block virtually all of President Trump's policies. To put this in perspective, there are 94 federal judicial districts. 5 of those districts throughout this country held 35 of the nationwide injunctions. Think about that. 94 districts, and 35 out of the 40 opinions with nationwide injunctions came from 5 liberal districts in this country. No longer. No longer. These injunctions have blocked our policies, from tariffs to military readiness to immigration to foreign affairs, fraud, abuse, and many other issues.
Okay, so as we cover this, keep in mind, one of the reasons I wanted to point out these sweeping victories for the Trump team is particularly because, as we covered in previous interviews, legal precedence is set in the courtroom whenever big changes are, wanted to be pushed through. And so there was once a power that the judges held that was able to stop presidential overstepping or, executive orders. And now, as the Trump administration has overcome these judge injunctions, we see a legal precedence is set for coming presidents to be able to not be stopped up by the court system, because it's kind of like they trudge a path, right? So anyways, more nationwide injunctions than the entire 20th century combined went into this, right? Nearly 700 federal judges could previously block presidential policies, and policies tied up in courts for years is how they stop Trump's agenda from going forward. And so now you hear what they've done to circumnavigate it.
Century together. Think of it, more than the entire 20th century. I'm grateful to the Supreme Court for stepping in and solving this very, very big and complex problem, and they've made it very simple. And we've been hit with more nationwide injunctions.
So now parents can apparently opt out of transgender ideology in schools, and parental rights to decide children's education has been restored.
If not for the injunctions case, we would be here talking about another great decision that came down today, the trans books case, which restores parents' rights to decide their child's education. Seems like a basic idea, but it took the Supreme Court to set the record straight, and we thank them for that. And now that ruling allows parents to opt out of dangerous trans ideology and make the decisions for their children that they believe is correct. And so we thank the Supreme Court for that. There's been multiple decisions over the past several weeks that just show why this nationwide injunction ban had to happen. For example, what I mean by that is local district court judges issuing decisions that are clearly contrary to law just because they don't like the policy of President Trump. And when it gets to the Supreme Court has to correct it. But that takes time. The Attorney General thanked our lawyers, and I'll do it again. Our lawyers are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to fight these injunctions and to emergency appeals, emergency stays, going back to the district court judge, asking them to change their view. And so their hard work is really paying off.
What is the plan now? Are you going to try to implement the EO just in states where there isn't a legal challenge?
Yes, so birthright citizenship will be decided in October in the next session by the Supreme Court, unless it comes down in the next few minutes.
Yeah, we're live. What's up, Dave?
I think they're still deliberating right now on some cases. As you heard, we just got transgender books, which is a huge win. But most likely, that will be decided in October in the next session. However, it indirectly impacts us because, as you correctly pointed out, if there's a birthright citizenship case in Oregon, it will only affect the plaintiff in Oregon, not the entire country. So yes, it's indirectly, but that's pending litigation, and we're waiting on that in the next term. And on immigration, on a side note, today marks 2,711 arrests on these terrorists and these gangs.
Okay, so Jeremiah, I wanted to show you this clip because I was wondering, do you believe 2,000-ish arrests sounds low? I mean, in 6 months.
It sounds low, but I don't know. I don't know what the normal rate is. Opa, does that sound low to you?
I don't know.
No longer. And on immigration, on a side note, today marks 2,711 arrests on these terrorists.
Okay, so terrorists, I guess that's
for the entire
2,000 terrorists?
In practice, this meant that if any one of the nearly 700 federal judges disagreed with the policy of a duly elected president of the United States, he or she could block that policy from going into effect, or at least delay it for many years, tie it up in the court system. These.
What would you say to Americans who fear that this is more and more concentration of power in the White House and the executive.
Well, this really brings back the Constitution. This is what it's all about. And this is really the opposite of that. I mean, the question is fine, but it's the opposite. The Constitution has been brought back.
Do you believe this ends the power of the lower court judges to stop your agenda? Do you see this as a full green light for your agenda going forward?
Well, you'd have to really speak to the lawyers about that. But this is really also a decision based on common sense. It didn't work the other way. It was a disaster where somebody from a certain location in a very liberal state or a liberal judge or a liberal group of judges could tie up a whole country for years because their decision would sometimes take years to overturn. We've overturned many of the decisions, but it would take years to do it. And we have to act quickly. When it comes to illegal immigration, we have murderers, killers, we have drug dealers, we have what they've allowed to come into our country should never be forgotten. It should never be forgotten what they've done to our country. And we have to be able to act very quickly, and we're going to do that. Thank you.
So this is a tourist in Rome showing how immigration has changed the landscape of other European countries.
Look at the fucking states of the city. This is Rome, guys.
Like the Casbah.
This looks like in Bangladesh or something. Look at this, guys. Look at the states of this place. Look at this, guys. This is Rome. This is Europe. Does this look like Europe to you? I don't see a single Italian here, guys. I am more Italian than any of these people. Look at this.
Occhio amico mio, perché noi qua non siamo ben visti, quindi stiamo sempre attenti, occhi aperti.
Sì.
È la strada molto pericolosa dove spacciano e vendono roba falsa.
Saying that the street is dangerous.
No, sono pericolosissimi.
Sì? Perché?
Perché hanno i coltelli tutti quanti, i maceti. Con
Maceti?
Sì, loro.
Che no.
Tutti.
Look at all these guys.
Non fatti vedere troppo qua. Una telecamera, amico mio.
Yeah. Look at all the shits on the floor. And here they are, just loitering.
Molto pericolosi. No, non fanno niente.
Very dangerous, he's saying.
Se passo là io adesso, sono un centinaio, mi caricano. Sicuro, sicuro.
We all know that's a mostly peaceful protest. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Bill Asaley, United States Attorney for the Central District of California.
And I'm Akil Davis, the Assistant Director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles Field Office.
And I'm Tyler Hatcher, the Special Agent in charge of IRS Criminal Investigation here in Los Angeles.
The right to assemble and protest peacefully is protected by law.
Oh my gosh.
Unfortunately, we've seen individuals whose intentions are to cause damage and to assault law enforcement. For example, last week we arrested an individual who was charged with conspiracy to commit and aiding and abetting civil disorders. These violent agitators put peaceful demonstrations
and individuals. That's it.
The FBI and our federal partners will continue to investigate individuals and organizations who
So
are
this
knowingly
is-
funding or committing acts of violence against law enforcement.
Knowingly
as
funding.
well as the destruction of property.
The riot stopped as soon as the FBI came after people funding people to riot.
Funding crime
Yeah.
doesn't just affect the criminals, it also disrupts entire communities. Each dollar funneled into illegal operations fuels violence, undermines law and order, and perpetuates fear. Make no mistake, we will identify and disrupt financial networks supporting these criminal activities.
Think before you act. The legal consequences for financing or aiding and abetting these crimes are harsh. They include imprisonment and fines.
If you have any information regarding individuals and/or organizations providing financial support to commit acts of violence or destruction of property, please dial 1-800-CALL-FBI or visit tips.fbi.gov. You can also upload your images and videos to fbi.gov/LA officer assault.
The United States government will continue to safeguard constitutionally protected rights, but we will not tolerate assaults on law enforcement destruction of property, or any violent acts that puts the community in harm's way.
So this was an article of that mayor candidate saying the price is white. They're in New York City.
Yeah, did you hear that he also speaks in an Indian accent when it's convenient? And he was like a Indian rapper. Like he does the Kamala thing. The Kamala thing. With the changing the voices. I didn't even know she was black.
Yeah, it's just interesting because it all relates to this immigration topic, and you're having people riot because of immigration, and you're having so we don't even have to worry about the dangerous illegal aliens. Our own citizens are burning house down, so we got enough of that as it is. Check out this interview with Trump just recently came out today.
One of the most consequential weeks anybody has ever seen, from striking Iran to going to NATO, to announcing 2 deals, and then this Supreme Court victory. Have you been able to digest what has occurred in the last 7 days?
Not really. It was pretty wild period of time, and I really think in 6 months we've taken the country and turned it around. It's I was told by the King of Saudi Arabia, by the leader of Qatar and the leader of UAE, when we went over there, we brought back $5.1 trillion investment into the United States. They said, you know, you're presiding now over the hottest country in the world. And a year ago, we thought your country was dead. It could never come back. It was so incompetently run by a very bad president. And I said, you're right. This country is hot. And that was a couple of months ago. You know, now we're talking about what we've done recently. So the country is really going. The numbers are great. I watch you in the mornings and you're giving those numbers and they're really good. No inflation. We have a bad Fed chairman, but other than that, we have, you know, great. It doesn't even matter. The numbers are so good. It doesn't matter that he keeps the rates artificially high. But it's been an amazing period of time.
When you went to the Middle East and you strengthened those relationships with all of those countries you just mentioned, did you have an idea that you would have to do something with regard to Iran? Because you teased it a little. You said, look, they've got to come to the table and talk. Something's going to happen.
Well, it was getting a little bit hot, and we knew they had a lot of sites, probably 3 plus the 1. But they had 3 main sites, and we knew they're going to have to either give them up.
Jake, can you turn it up a little bit more?
During negotiation,
the video?
And we just about had it done. And then they said, we want enrichment. Enrichment doesn't mean like air conditioning. It doesn't mean to jack up your car. Enrichment is a bad word.
Let me see. All right. Sorry, guys. This next one we're reading anyway, so. This is a statement from Putin, and it says, I hold President Trump of the United States in high regard. He has traveled a very hard, difficult, and unsafe path to get back to power and back to the White House. We know all of this very well, right down to the fact that he survived an assassination attempt. He's a courageous man. It's clear what he's doing domestically. What he's doing in the Middle East and his efforts to resolve the Ukrainian crisis, we certainly appreciate all that. And I've said before, I want to say it publicly, and I want to say it now. I believe that President Trump is sincerely seeking to resolve the issue on the Ukrainian track. Here, he was recently, I think, saying it was more difficult than it seemed from the outside. Well, it is. Yeah, of course, Putin would say that. Immerse yourself in the problem. That's also what I think is happening in the Middle East. Everything, although maybe he had more experience and was more involved in the events in the Middle East. But things are complicated too. Real life is always more complicated. I get such an impression that Putin is just like just an average guy. He's just like, I'm just running the political office. We're all just trying to live here.
We don't want any bunker bomber busters.
Yeah. Trump's my best friend. Yeah. They do show a strong mutual respect for sure.
По результатам мы должны выходить на какие-то новые рубежи сотрудничества. В целом, благодаря сфере экономического взаимодействия. И мы знаем, что американский бизнес проявляет желание, стремление и посылает нам сигналы о том, что они хотели бы вернуться на наш рынок.
Yeah, so you see there's that monetary comment that U.S. businesses are interested in reconnecting with their Russian audience. And he's ready to do a talk with Trump.
He needs money for the war.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I thought this was one last interesting little thing. The United States of America spends billions of dollars, far more than any other nation, protecting and supporting Israel, and we're not going to stand for this. So you have some interesting public statements of Trump supporting Benjamin Netanyahu, who's had lots of people trying to dethrone him, so to speak, in the political scape in Israel. And so it's interesting to have one guy who's been politically tormented and persecuted speaking out and defending another leader of another country. Oh, by the way, who also so happens to be the country that America spends more money on than any other nation. So, but isn't it interesting how both leaders, it's like there's such a kind of a baggage of character that comes along with them. And so it's the assassination of their character and all that people try to use to usurp them. And you see Trump's, got Benjamin's back. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, about their relationship.
Well, Opa, you want to do one or two of your videos, and then I have a short one, and then we have an Elon Musk related topic for tonight.
Okay. I got an Elon Musk too, but I'll do that later. In Rome, there was a tense moment when an object was thrown at Pope Leo XIV from a huge crowd.
No.
Is that a baseball glove?
Yeah, it looked like it. That reminds me of the George W. Bush shoe incident. You remember that?
Yeah, except they're going to put this thing in a museum somewhere and say the Pope touched it.
Not our American Pope, no.
I'm just glad he can speak English.
Now, they think that the object that was thrown was some kind of red and yellow flag or something like that for their football team, the Rome soccer team. So all it did was just kind of knock his skull cap off to the side a little bit, and he readjusted that. But as soon as he adjusted it, then the crowd started going toward him and breaking through the line, and that's when the security guys got up there to try to push him back, and he was doing his Jedi thing where he was trying to use his hands and say, "Go back, go back, go back," And then once they went back, he went up to the line, shook hands, kissed a baby. Everything was back to normal. But
that poor baby.
Poor baby.
It's like Joe Biden.
Yeah. And as previously covered by Skiba News Nation, a SpaceX Starship upper stage rocket exploded during a test in the company's facility in Texas, right here where we are. There's some very interesting comments that some other news agencies, or whatever you want to call them, have made on it. So here's one.
During a routine test of an unmanned SpaceX rocket, some small talk on the live stream was interrupted after something went a little awry, and see if you can spot it.
Would they static fire while it's raining?
Yeah, probably. I mean, even the other day when they...
Whoa! What?
No!
You think maybe Trump had something to do with that? He's just like,
Oh my God.
No, I think Elon was just like, early 4th of July, everybody. Let's blow up the old decommissioned rocket.
So about those launch dates, I think that may delay a bit.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's honestly tough to choose the best response there between the two woes, the big no and the oh pause, my God. And I will say, between that rocket and this relationship, it has been a big month for things paid for by Elon Musk publicly exploding in a spectacular fashion.
Yeah, that was funny.
Okay, go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, that was really cool. Seeing that rocket blow up, man. Like I said, I wonder if they were just like, you know what, early 4th of July, everybody. Let's just decommission some stuff. And it's been a while since we've had a catastrophic rocket blow up, and we've been seeing a lot of the bad kind blow up. But we got to remind people that the ones that we build to just go up blow up as well.
Yep. They can blow up. They can blow up on the ground, or they can blow up in the air. Or
yeah, it's like, it makes me think of like a Dr. Seuss.
Yep.
Like, oh man. Okay, so check out this crazy scene that came out of I think it was Middletown, America. They were filming a movie.
Oh yeah, I saw this. Just a good old boys, never meaning no harm.
Yep.
Dukes of Hazzard. I want that car.
Yeah, that's crazy. That guy almost got squished. That would have been terrible.
Didn't land just right.
Yeah, this reminds me of like Old Hicktown. Like, this is the opposite of the videos we've been seeing from LA and New York, right? This is like what good old boy America really looks like. Well, here's some fireball sightings that have been reported across the southeastern USA. There's actually an article that came out that said the meteor hit a guy's house, and they have like fragments of the meteor.
Or could it be a Musk rocket?
Just don't eat it.
Not as pretty as the last ones they shot up, I guess.
Nope.
China's been recently hit by the worst floods in their history. They call it like 50-year floods. But bigger, whole neighborhoods are being wiped out. 80,000 evacuations. Yeah, this is China. Some cities in China right now.
That's crazy. It's like muddy water.
So apparently a group of 5th grade girls were recently arrested for plotting to murder a boy in the bathroom and make it look like he took his own life. So we have some like savage Arizona elementary schoolers. Yeah. The love of many is growing cold, I guess you could say.
She went into the boys' bathroom? Or the girls?
Well, the girls were going to go and kill some boy that they were mad at. We're about to get a false flag. Does anybody else feel it? Yeah.
I'd keep your day job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Scientists found a 14-centimeter tiny shark off the Gulf of Mexico that glows in the dark. I thought that was a pretty sweet find.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in our ocean that we don't even know about. That's crazy.
stop exploring space and explore what we got down here. It's a waste if we don't.
Well, I did a poll last episode. Where do you think UFOs come from? Or a couple episodes back, and everybody said underwater.
That'd be about right. So the Chiefs tonight in Travis Kelce got paid more money from Pfizer than his entire NFL salary this season. His 2025 salary, $17 million. His reported payment from Pfizer, a lot more than that.
With American bread. In America, what we call bread can't even be considered food in parts of Europe. See, here in America, it's not so much the gluten as what we've done to the grain. About 200 years ago, we started stripping the bran and germ, or the fiber and nutrients, to make flour shelf-stable, also nutritionally dead. Because the nutrients were gone, we enriched it with folic acid, which a large majority of the population can't even metabolize, therefore many people experience fatigue, anxiety, hyperactivity, and inflammation. But then the bread wasn't white enough, so they bleached it with chlorine gas, and the bread didn't rise enough, so they added a carcinogen called potassium bromate, which is banned in several countries like Europe, the UK, and even China. Then we wanted to ramp up production, so we started using glyphosate to dry out the wheat before harvest, causing endocrine disruption and damaging your gut. So now you're bloated, brain fogged, tired, and blame gluten, but gluten is just the scapegoat. The real issue is ultra-processed, chemically altered, bleached, bromated, fake vitamin-filled wheat soaked in glyphosate. This isn't bread. This is.
What's his name? Danny Durer? This guy's going to explain.
Yeah, I
what's
thought that
wrong.
was really interesting considering health. This was a sweet clip. This came out this week of a ladder somebody had been working on, fell over onto a power line, and the ladder created molten concrete. I don't know, like it literally this is the power of electricity. Been seeing so many volcanoes lately. I'm like, this is a cool tiny little volcano.
That's what I was saying. Thinking in my mind.
No need to go to the tropic, Indonesia or Italy. Just
that's a tall ladder.
Yeah. So apparently there's been a migrant wave in Tokyo as well. Check out this scene, downtown Japan.
Huh. Doesn't look like the Japan I used to go to.
Yeah, it's just a common theme we're seeing in a lot of our news recently is this topic of immigration and who's going where and what they're doing, where they go. I have one final topic of the night, which would be some stuff with artificial intelligence and Neuralink. Or did you guys have any other videos you would want to show beforehand? This last one's a little bit longer than the others.
Yeah, let me go ahead and put up a couple more. Now, I'm going to show a weather anchor who was scared by a spider during his live weather broadcast.
Temperatures this morning and the very real threat of danger of sunstroke, becoming dehydrated, all that sort of stuff.
Have to prepare for this, and it's been not an extremely hot summer so far. Yes, we've had some hot days here in the South Coast, many in the BC interior, of course, but it's the prolonged dry spell, and now we're going to continue with the dry spell and get the real heat. Whoa! Whoa! Where did he come from?
You're in danger.
You're in danger. Yeah,
that's
in danger.
We named that spider Charlotte last week.
Charlotte? Okay. Yeah. I haven't been around for a while. It's been about 10 days away, so I guess Charlotte's been hanging around with us. All right.
Charlotte needs a salt gun shot. That's what it needs.
And let's see. A lot of you guys may have seen a video of Elon Musk during his joint press conference with President Trump. And there's one going around that seems to maybe further the speculation about his possible drug use. So let's take a look at this video.
Does this video prove that Elon Musk was high in front of President Trump? It shows the world's richest man at a dinner party at Mar-a-Lago doing something baffling, balancing a fork and 2 spoons on one finger. That woman next to him watching on is Siobhan Gillis, the mother of 4 of his children. In another video taken that night, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stops by to chat, but Elon ignores her, captivated by his spoons.
Elon, what the hell are you doing?
It happened in March, but resurfaced on social media after a New York Times article last week claimed Musk juggled drugs and family drama on the campaign trail.
Hey, Jake, you were there.
He was taking so much ketamine that it was affecting his bladder. This is what drugs do to your brain, goes one snarky reaction to the video. Even the Secret Service looks embarrassed, goes another. Elon is firing back. I'm not on ketamine for blank's sake. I do not take drugs. The New York Times is lying. I tried prescription ketamine a few years ago. It helps with dark periods, but I haven't taken it since.
Okay, he is also autistic, very autistic, and maybe if the professional, if my wife is still in the chat, she could say, is that kind of like an autism thing, or is that a drug thing?
It could be. Oh,
you never know. I think whenever you're that intelligent, you're basically high all the time, anyways. So
yeah.
High-minded, that is, I guess.
High on life with your eyes going everywhere.
Hard-minded. Okay, so for my very last video, a few years back, there was a mysterious sound in Brooklyn, New York. I think it was around 2022. And it really scared a lot of people in Brooklyn. As far as I know, they still haven't resolved what that sound is, and it's still there. The sound still continues. So let's take a look at this video.
Sound heard through parts of Fort Greene, Brooklyn, has been driving some people, we are told, crazy.
Yeah, it's maddening, it's unsettling, and it's also just this mystery because nobody seems to know what is causing this strange humming sound. CBS 2's Kevin Rincon gives us a listen.
It's profoundly annoying.
As you hear the noise, it's hard to make out what it is.
It sounds like somebody putting their finger on a glass cup and running it around the top of the cup.
It sounds very much like a resonance, a harmonic resonance, like if you can picture someone rubbing the top of a crystal glass or a tuning fork.
What does it sound? Mo Hussein, he took video walking home one night. He's noticed the sound for over a year.
I liken it to like some sort of alien invasion. As you're walking around, even in the middle of the night, you hear this hum off in the background and you wonder what could that be?
I thought about that.
They're digging.
And they're only landing in the middle of the night.
For Adrena Banks, her theory, it's construction related, but admits it could be anything.
It's just this consistent humming that doesn't seem to go away and goes on for hours. It's so piercing that it keeps you up.
Neighbors called 311, but when the city's Department of Environmental Protection showed up, the sound had stopped. We reached out to the DEP several times on Thursday, and they now say they plan to return to try and find the source of the nuisance.
As soon as you think, okay, well, now I've gotten used to it, now I'm ready to live my life with this noise, then it goes away. You're like, oh, that's great, and then it comes back.
And the timing of it makes me sort of believe that, at times anyway, makes me sort of believe that there's some sort of
sewer
equipment
clown
being run,
and
they sort of
goes.
try to turn it off and on in ways that don't disrupt people.
Some residents, they've turned to online forums to mark when the noise starts and stops, but tracking it isn't easy.
Like bass notes they disperse easily, but they're hard to pinpoint. And this sound has that quality of like, ooh, that's really hard to locate.
It's not just loss of sleep or an inconvenience. There are plenty of people here concerned that this could have larger psychological impacts, which is why they're hoping speaking out could help bring them some peace and quiet. In Fort Greene, Kevin Rincon, CBS 2 News.
Hope so.
It was beginning to drive me nuts, too.
Just in a short time and they're living with it.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I hope there's a remedy.
They'll figure it out.
Now, I think that it probably happens so often now that, as the Blues Brothers once said, it happens so often that you don't even notice it.
Yeah, that's the hum is what it sounds like to me. I'm thinking about doing a History's Mysteries on it because it's pretty crazy. It doesn't just happen. Where was that one?
That was in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, there are a lot of reports everywhere, like across the world. So they must be digging tunnels or something.
So that's all I got, Jake.
Sweet. Well, just a few more things before we watch the video about Neuralink and the keynote address that Elon Musk just recently gave on it. I wanted to show this, which is the topic of the big, beautiful bill. Somebody in the chat was mentioning, hey, are you going to cover the fact that they might pass this before July 4th? And I think that's very interesting. And I've mentioned just kind of glancingly in previous coverage of this topic that whenever they pass the big, beautiful bill, we're going to see funding for a wide variety of things that have been announced for Trump's administration. Social Security taxes, Medicaid requirements, increased cap on SALT tax, SNAP benefits, no tax on overtime or tips, clean energy tax cuts. But also specifically, there's going to be provisions related to AI defense spending. And I think that's really, really interesting. So provisions related to AI is what I wanted to read here. And then we're going to watch this other topic of Neuralink and how it'll be related to AI. But there's a 10-year moratorium on state AI regulations. The House passed bill prohibits states from enforcing existing or new laws regulating AI models, systems, or automated decisions for 10 years. 10 years, guys. So all that they've been talking about recently about like liberties going back to the states, they're talking out of two sides of their mouth. On one side, they're saying, oh, yeah, the decision for what your children are going to read when it comes to transgender story time is going back to the parents. But on the other hand, we are not going to let any law enforcing AI or regulating AI be on the state level for 10 years. Okay, so if that's not resonating, why I'm bringing this to your attention, wake up, right? Especially how close they believe we are to the singularity or general AI intelligence. Senate revision to circumvent the Byrd rule. The Senate amended this provision to tie the moratorium to federal broadband equity access and deployment BEAD funding. States that regulate AI would risk losing broadband funds, making the moratorium less direct but still coercive. Anyways, there's just a whole lot to this. The bill allocates $500 million over 10 years to modernize federal IT systems using commercial AI and automation technologies, embedding AI into governmental operations. So this is all coming through the big, beautiful bill, everybody. There's also a $150 billion defense increase. And you better believe, here, $250 million for AI at Cyber Command. $20 million for AI and Defense Department auditing processes. Oh man. While not strictly defense, the bill allocates $70 billion for border security, including $2.7 billion for AI-driven border surveillance technologies and $1 billion for AI-based anti-narcotics projects. Okay, guys, just to sum up, I used Grok, part of X, an AI engine, to generate this information. And so obviously Grok might be lying to us to throw us off their scent, but if it is accurately digesting the big, beautiful bill, then we have a lot to look forward to in terms of the modernization of AI. And so with that shared, just real quick, shout out, last chance to get your tickets for Hebrew Fest. My buddies put out some pretty great promos, including one for yours truly. I wanted to show you guys. This is from like years ago, but we're going to be performing July 4th, my band, and Jeremiah is going to be there that Friday evening and Saturday on Shabbat, and it's a 3-day festival. So look forward to hanging out with all you guys. Go to HebrewFest.com. And with that plug over, let's watch this final video. This final video, which has to do with something very, very interesting. It directly ties to something that we've shared of your dad's research regarding the kind of the promise in the Garden of Eden to be as God and to live forever and not die, and to increase our capabilities as men and women. Check this out. But first, a fun video. This is how we train AI. Okay. Do it with it, right? So with electrodes on your head, as you do the motion, or even as you think the motion, it sees what lights up in your brain. And so this is how they train Neuralink. Okay? So over and over, you're doing these motions or these actions that then create a readable map or language for Neuralink to know what you're wanting to do. And of course, the people that are starting on Neuralink don't have arms or legs. They're all quadriplegics for the most part. But just to kind of help you understand how they go through these programs to train the AI that works with Neuralink. But anyways, I thought this was super fun too.
It's weird.
So satisfying.
Hey, shout out, John. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for supporting the stream. All right, so we have Tesla bots, and you're going to hear some things Elon says in this keynote speech where pretty much he's going to say we are going to be able to inhabit artificial robot bodies and walk around and do stuff through Neuralink. And in the more controversial things, he hands the mic off to his CEO, co-CEO, and
are they going to try to put our brain in there?
I'm the second participant in the Neuralink study, and I'm here to count us down to the demo. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Japanese way of counting.
Good eye. Good eye.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Neuralink presentation. This is an update for
I'm going to show you this trick with some spoons, guys.
Neuralink team. It's been an incredible amount of progress. This is, we're going to start off high level, generally describing what Neuralink's doing. And then we're going to have a very deep technical dive, so you can actually get an understanding of what exactly we're doing at a granular level and what we can do to enhance human capabilities and ultimately build a great future for humanity. So those are neurons firing. It's funny to think that me talking right now is a bunch of neurons firing that then result in speech that you hear and cause neurons to fire in your brain. A part of this presentation is about demystifying the brain. It is a remarkable organ. I mean, we are the brain, basically. When you say you, that really is you're the brain. Like you can get a heart transplant, you can get a kidney transplant, but I don't know anyone who's gotten a brain transplant. So you are your brain. And your experiences are these neurons firing with trillions of synapses that somehow lead to conscious comprehension of the world. This is something that we have only begun to understand. We're really just barely at the beginning of understanding of what is the nature of consciousness. And I've thought a lot about what is consciousness? Where does consciousness arise? Because if you start at the beginning of the universe, assuming physics is true, the standard model of physics is true, then you have this Big Bang, the matter condensing into stars, those stars exploding. A lot of the atoms that are in your body right now were once at the center of stars. those stars exploded, recondensed. Fast forward 13.8 billion years, and here we are. And somewhere along that very long journey, to us at least, consciousness arose, or the molecules started talking to each other. And it begs the question of what is consciousness. Is everything conscious? Maybe. It's hard to say where along that line. There's no sort of discrete point where consciousness didn't exist and then suddenly does exist. It seems to be, maybe you have a condensation of matter that has a density of, like, we don't know what, the real answer is we don't know what consciousness is. But with Neuralink and the progress that the company's making, we'll begin to understand a lot more about consciousness. And what does it mean to be? Along the way, we're going to solve a lot of brain issues where the brains get injured or damaged in some way, or didn't develop in quite the right way. There's a lot of brain and spine injuries that we'll solve along the way. And I do want to emphasize that this is all going to happen quite slowly, meaning you'll see it coming. Sometimes people think that suddenly there will be vast numbers of Neuralinks all over the place. This is not going to be sudden. You'll be able to watch it happen, over the course of several years. And we go through exhaustive regulatory approvals. So this is not something that we're just doing, by ourselves without government oversight. We work closely with the regulators every step of the way. We're very cautious with the Neuralinks in humans. That's the reason we're not moving faster than we are, is because we're taking great care with each individual to make sure we never miss. And so far we haven't, and I hope that continues into the future. Every single one of our implants in humans is working, and working quite well. And you'll get to hear from some of the people that have received the implants and hear it in their words. So what we're creating here with a Neuralink device is a generalized input-output technology for the brain. So it's how do you get information into or out of the brain, and do so in a way that does not damage the brain or cause any negative side effects. So it's a very hard problem, and generally the reactions I've seen to this range from "it's impossible" to "it's already been done before." Those people should meet, actually. The reality is that there actually have been limited brain-to-computer interfaces for several decades on a very basic basis. Just what we're doing with Neuralink is dramatically increasing the bandwidth by many orders of magnitude. So you can a human bandwidth output is less than 1 bit per second over the course of a day. So there's 86,400 seconds in a day. It's very rare for a person to do more than 86,400 bits of output per day. You'd have to.
Somebody's got to put some subtle, creepy music with some keys in the background as he starts to talk about this stuff. It's perfect for that. Like, I almost can just hear it. Like,
he needs one in his brain.
Yeah,
he probably already does.
And the ability to do consensual telepathy. Now, the input to the brain is much higher, especially because of vision. Depending upon how you count it, it might be on the order of a megabit or in the megabit range for input, primarily due to sight. But even for input, we think that can be dramatically increased to the gigabit plus level. And a lot of the thinking that we do is we take a concept in our mind and we compress that into a small number of symbols. So when you're trying to communicate with somebody else, you're actually trying to model their mind state, and then take perhaps quite a complex idea that you have, maybe even a complex image or scene or kind of mental video, and try to compress that into a few words or a few keystrokes. And it's necessarily going to be very lossy. Your ability to communicate is very limited by how fast you can talk and how fast you can type. And what we're talking about is unlocking that potential to enable you to communicate, like I said, thousands, perhaps millions of times faster than is currently possible. This is an incredibly profound breakthrough. This would be a fundamental change to what it means to be a human. So we're starting off with reducing.
Just a fundamental change of what it means to be human. Reduce human suffering, enhance human capabilities, understand and expand consciousness, and mitigate risks of artificial intelligence.
Or some kind of injury, essentially.
I wonder if he's an android.
Enabling our first product is called telepathy, and that enables someone who has lost the ability to with roughly the same dexterity, ultimately much more dexterity.
I think your mic was off.
A human with working hands.
I was just saying that the fact that they chose to key the name telepathy for their whole, show,
including if they've lost their eyes or the optic nerve, or maybe have never seen, were blind, even blind from birth, to be able to see again. Initially low resolution, but ultimately very high resolution, and then in multiple wavelengths. So you could be like Geordi LaForge in Star Trek, and you can see in radar, you can see in infrared, ultraviolet, superhuman capabilities, cybernetic enhancement, essentially. And then along the way, this should help us understand a lot more about consciousness. What does it mean to be a conscious creature? We'll understand vastly more about the nature of consciousness as a result of this. And then ultimately, I think this helps mitigate the civilizational risk of artificial intelligence. We already sort of have three layers of thinking. There's the limbic system, which is your instincts, your cortical system, which is your higher level planning and thinking, and then the tertiary layer, which is the computers and machines that you interact with, like your phone, all the applications you use. So people actually are already a cyborg. You can maybe have an intuitive sense for this by how much you miss your phone if you leave it behind. Leaving your phone behind it's almost like missing limb syndrome.
True.
Your phone is cyborgs. Somewhat of an extension of yourself, as is your computer. So you already have this digital tertiary layer, but the bandwidth between your cortex and your digital tertiary layer is limited by speech and by how fast you can move your fingers and how fast you can consume information visually. So, but I think it's actually very important for us to address that input-output bandwidth constraint in order for the collective will of humanity to match the will of artificial intelligence. That's my intuition, at least. So let's see. And what this presentation is mostly about is attracting smart humans to come and work with us on this problem. So this is not a presentation to raise money or anything like that. We're actually, very well funded. We have a lot of great investors. Some of the smartest people in the world are invested in Neuralink. But we need smart humans to come here and help solve this problem. So with that, let's proceed.
Okay, so I want you to notice he hands the mic off and then hear what this guy starts to talk about, because it would be too meme worthy if he mentioned the things this guy mentions.
And as Elon mentioned, well, actually, we're standing in the middle of our robot space. We have a stage set up, but this is actually where some of the next generation, most advanced surgical robots are being built. So welcome to our space. It's important to highlight that this technology is not being built in the dark. This is not a secret lab where we're not sharing any of the progress. In fact, we're actually sharing the progress very openly, and as well as also telling you exactly what we're going to be doing. And we're hoping to progress on that as diligently and as safely and as carefully as possible. So to start off, 2 years ago when we did our previous fundraising round, we outlined this path and timeline to first human. And we currently have a clinical trials in the US for a product that we call telepathy, which allows users to control phone or computer purely with their thoughts. And you're going to see how we do this and what the impact that this has had.
I don't think they want that.
We launched this clinical trial, but as of today, we have not just 1, but 7 participants, and we have an approval. And we also have an approval to launch this trial in Canada, UK, and the UAE. So I guess before we dive into what this technology is and what we built, but I wanted to quickly share a video with you guys of when our first 5 participants met each other for the first time. So here you go.
All right, we have everyone together.
What's up, guys?
Thanks, everybody, for joining. Definitely want to introduce all of you.
Yeah, I'm Nolan, aka P1.
My name's Alex. I am the second participant in the Neuralink study.
I am Brad Smith, the ALS cyborg P3.
I've seen a documentary about him.
Mike, G4, have ALS like Brad does.
Yeah, I'm RJ. I'm P5, and I guess I'm kind of the newest one to the team here. So, yeah, appreciate it, Nolan, trailblazer. Somebody's got to go first, man. That was you. Appreciate that.
What's been your favorite thing you've been able to do with the Neuralink so far?
I've just had a good time being able to use it as I travel, flying and drawing a little mustache on a cat. Had a lot of fun doing that. I mean, I've just had a good time playing around with it. Oh, you know what? I do know what my favorite BCI feature is. Probably not a feature, but I love WebGrid more than I love anything in my life. Probably. I think I could play that game nonstop forever.
Has to be Fusion 360. Being able to design parts, design the hat logo with the BCI.
Oh, that's what's up.
Pretty sweet.
That's sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a little Arduino that takes input from my quad stick, converts it into a PPM signal to go to a RC truck.
Cool.
Little rock crawler. Well,
cool.
With the BCI, I wrote code to drive the plane with the quad stick.
That's awesome.
The best thing I like about Neuralink is being able to continue to provide for my family and continue working.
I think my favorite thing is probably being able to turn on my TV. Yeah, like the first time in 2.5 years, I was able to do that. So it's a pretty sweet move. I like shooting zombies. That's kind of nice. Excited to see what BCI's got going on.
I got a question. What's your shirt say?
It says I do a thing called whatever I want.
Aloha. Thanks for joining.
They're trying to mess with
one
our
of the
emotions
major figure
now.
merits that we have is to keep track of monthly hours of independent BCI use. Effectively, are they using the BCI? And not at the clinic, but at their home. And what we have noticed, and this is a plot of all of the different participants, first 5 participants, and their usage per month over the course of the last year and a half. And we're averaging around 50 hours a week of usage, and in some cases, peak usage of more than 100 hours a week, which is pretty much every waking moment. So I think it's been incredible to see all of our participants demonstrating greater independence through their use of BCI. Not only that, we've also accelerated our implant.
Now look at the exponential rate that they're starting to roll this out. We had the first person we covered back in January 2024, and now we're already up to numerous participants, and they're spacing them only a week apart in terms of implant timing. So they're really rolling this out quickly.
And we're just beginning. This is just tip of the iceberg. Our end goal is to really build a whole brain interface. And what do we mean by whole brain interface? We mean being able to listen to neurons everywhere, be able to write information to neurons anywhere, be able to have that fast data wireless transfer to enable that high bandwidth connection from our biological brain to the external machines, and be able to do all of this with fully automated surgery, as well as enable 24 hours of usage. And towards that goal, we're really working on 3 major product types. Elon mentioned earlier that our goal is to build a generalized input-output platform and technology to the brain. So for the output portion of it, which is extremely slow through our meat sticks, as Elon calls them,
meat sticks,
meat hands that are holding the mics. We're starting out with helping people with movement disorders, either through where they
Slim
lost the
Jims, as we call them,
either through a spinal cord injury, ALS, or stroke, be able to regain some of that digital as well as physical independence through a product.
So you can see their timetable. They start with motor and speech, and then they're going to move to visual cortex, and then they're going to go to deeper regions of the brain, and that gets to ideological, psychological, and all the other kind of stuff like frontal lobe stuff.
Be able to regain that sight again through a product that we're calling Blind Sight, and this is our opportunity.
Man,
to
Helen
build
Keller could have really
high-channel
used this.
Right capabilities, and last but not least, be able to also help people that are suffering from neurological, debilitating dysregulation or psychiatric conditions or neuropathic pain by inserting our electrodes in reaching any brain regions to be able to insert them not just on the cortical layer, but into the sulci as well as deeper parts of the brain, the so-called limbic system, to really enable better opportunities to just regain some of that independence. Our North Star metrics is 1, increasing the number of neurons that we can interface with, and 2nd, to expand to many diverse areas, any parts of the brain, starting with microfabrication or lithography to change the way in which we can actually increase the number of neurons that we can see from a single channel, and also doing mixed signal chip design to actually increase the physical channel count, to increase more neurons that we can interface to sort of allow more information from the brain to the outside world. And then, everything we built from day one of the company has always been read and write capable. And with telepathy, our first product, the focus has been on the read capabilities or the output. And we want to hone in on our write capability and also show that through accessing deeper regions within the visual cortex, that we can actually achieve functional vision. So now, just to step you through what the product evolution is going to look like in the next 3 years, today what we have is 1,000 electrodes in the motor cortex, the small part of the brain that you see in this animation called the hand knob area, that allows participants control computer cursors as well as gaming consoles. Next quarter,
so that's where they're implanting
to
it.
Implant in
That's
the
what you
speech
need. It's a
cortex
gaming console
to
in your
directly
head.
decode attentive words from brain signals to speech. And in 2026, not only are we going to triple the number of electrodes from 1,000 to 3,000 for more capabilities, we're planning to have our first blind sight participant to enable navigation. And in 2027, we're going to continue increasing channel counts, probably another triple, so 10,000 channels, and also enable, for the first time, multiple implants. So not just one in motor cortex, speech cortex, or visual cortex, but all of the above. And finally, in 2028, our goal is to get to more than 25,000 channels per implant, have multiple of these, have ability to access any part of the brain for psychiatric conditions, pain, dysregulation, and also start to demonstrate what it would be like to actually integrate with AI.
And that's when you get stuck on the holodeck, Opa. Just like in Star Trek, you know, then you don't know what's real and what's fake, and you're stuck in the holodeck of your own mind.
Yep.
To have
trying to do that
hundreds
to
of
us,
thousands, if
too.
not millions of channels with multiple implants for whole brain interfaces that could actually solve not just these debilitating neurological conditions, but be able to go beyond the limits of our biology. And this vertical integration and the talented team that we have at Neuralink has been and will continue to be the key recipe for rapid progress that we will be making. Just to recap real quick, Neuralink is implanted with precision surgical robot. It's physically invisible. And 1 week later, users are able to see their thoughts transform into actions. And to share more about what that experience is like, I'd like to welcome Sahej to the stage.
What's up, guys? My name is Sahej. I'm from the Brain-Computer Interface
What's up,
team here at
y'all?
Neuralink, and I'm going to be talking about two things today. The first thing is
What's
what
up, dude?
exactly is
I'm
a
gonna,
Neuralink
like,
device capable of doing
wire your
right now?
brain.
And the second one is how does that
No
actually
sweat,
impact
bro.
the day-to-day lives of our users? Very
plug you
simply
right
put,
in.
what the Neuralink device does right now is it allows you to control devices simply just by thinking. Now, to put that a bit more concretely, I'm about to play a video of our first user. His name is Nolan, if you remember from DJ Section. And what Nolan is doing is he's looking at a normal off-the-shelf MacBook Pro. And with his Neuralink device, as you're going to see, he's going to be able to control the cursor simply with his mind, no eye tracking, no other sensors. And what's special about this particular moment is this is the first time someone is using a Neuralink device to fully control their cursor. This is not your ordinary brain-controlled cursor. This is actually a record-breaking control, literally on day one, beating decades of brain-computer research. And I'm about to show you the clip. On day one, Nolan breaking the BCI world record.
Whoa!
No shit.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Oh, well done, man. Well done.
Wait, what I missed?
He's a new world record holder.
Oh, no way. The first day.
There's all the confetti.
Yes. This was a surprise. It's small for 1 of 5.
I thought it was higher. I thought I would have to get to 5 or something.
RJ playing Call of Duty, controlling one joystick to move and then the other joystick to, like, point your gun and then shooting people as a button. Here's Alex shooting another person.
This is how modern warfare is going to be fought, is we're going to have all of our paraplegics piped into robot bodies, and then they're going to be coming after us.
It's like drones.
Yeah, exactly.
A sense of what the BCI can do. A very important question to answer is, how does this impact the day-to-day lives of the people that use it every day? So I'm about to show you a clip, going back to Nolan for a second, where he talks. We simply just asked him randomly during a day how he enjoys using the BCI a couple months ago. And this is his candid reaction.
I work basically all day from when I wake up. I'm trying to wake up at like 6 or 7 a.m. and I'll do work until session. I'll do session, and then I'll work until, 11, 12 p.m. or 12 a.m.
Wow.
I'm doing
His artist name is I'm a Cyborg, but that's okay on Spotify.
learning my languages. I'm learning my math. I'm like relearning all of my math. I am writing. I am doing a class that I signed up for. And I wanted to point out that like this is not something I would be able to do without the Neuralink.
Next, I want to talk a bit about Brad. You guys may already know him as the ALS cyborg. And Brad also has ALS. And what separates him from our other users is he's actually nonverbal, so he can't speak. Why this is pretty relevant is he relies, at least before the Neuralink, on an eye gaze machine to communicate. And a lot of eye gaze machines you can't use outdoors. You really need like a dark room.
This guy I watched a documentary on, but they use his real voice. It's really strange.
Unable to leave his house. Now with the Neuralink device, we're going to show you a clip of him with his kids at the park, shot by Ashley Vance and the team.
Okay, you guys ready? No, Abdul's taking it. Okay.
I am absolutely doing more with Neuralink than I was doing with eye gaze. I've been a Batman for a long time, but
I see. There's the problem. Is his previous equipment was called eye gaze. I mean, so Neuralink, it was a little less gaze.
Yeah, a little less gaze. That's what's important.
Did he lose one of the arms?
The last user I want to talk about is Alex. You've seen some clips of him earlier. What's special about Alex to me is he's a fellow left-handed guy who writes in cursive all the time. And what he mentioned is since a spinal cord injury from like 3-4 years ago, he's been unable to just like draw or write. And he always brags about how good his handwriting was. So we actually got to put it to the test. We gave him a robotic arm. And I think this is the first time he tried using the robotic arm to write anything. And this is a sped up version of writing at the convoy trial. I
thought he was drawing something else for a second. I was like, oh no.
Now, yeah, controlling a robotic arm is cool, but this one has a clamp. And what would be cooler is if you could decode the actual fingers, the actual wrist, all the muscles of the hand in real time. Just in the past couple of weeks, we were able to do that with Alex, and you're about to see him and his uncle playing a game.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, that's
shoot.
cheating.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. That was scissors. Rock. These bullshit. Thumb war?
How can you thumb war?
Cool. Controlling, yeah, that's pretty dope. I don't know. Controlling a robotic hand on screen is obviously not super helpful for most people. Fortunately, we have connections.
If you like rock, paper,
with
scissors, that's all.
Tesla.
That's great.
Who have the Optimus hand, and we're actually actively working on giving Alex an Optimus hand so that he could actually control it in his real life. And here's the actual replay of the end of that video using Alex's neural signals on an Optimus hand. Sean, if you want to play that. Yeah.
Actually, let me maybe add a few things to that, which is, as we advance the Neuralink devices,
pay attention.
You should be able to actually have full body control and sensors from an Optimus robot. So you
like
could
this
basically
video, share,
inhabit an Optimus robot. It's not just the hand, the whole thing. So you could like basically mentally remote into an Optimus robot and be kind of cool. The future's going to be weird, but pretty cool.
The present seems weird.
So with this technology where we can remote ourselves into certain robots, check out this mosquito turret set up in a backyard that takes mosquitoes out with lasers. And think of the possibilities, Jeremiah. We just plug our brains into the AI Borg, and we can just like annihilate mosquitoes for all mankind. I mean,
Yeah, I
it's a
can't
good.
wait.
It's a.
I saw an ad for this, and I was like, man, I gotta get one of those. But it's crazy.
Just
like,
imagine doing this with your eyeballs.
Yeah. Coming soon.
Is this overcompensating? You know, what's freaky about this is they have this for modern warfare. Like, it's not just for mosquitoes. They have this for people, like big old like machines that'll just laser you to an oblivion. Oh,
yeah,
man.
it's crazy.
Well, that's all the news clips for this week, guys.
All right. Well, I thought I'd play a TrutherCon ad. If you guys want to get a ticket, you can get your TrutherCon ticket. They're available now. And yeah, check this out.
Huge is coming. We're building the world's largest truther convention. It's called TrutherCon.
This is the place where truthers unite to explore knowledge, ask tough questions, to challenge the mainstream narrative.
But it isn't just a convention. It's a movement for free thought, open discussion, and the right to question everything.
We are bringing in some of the biggest names of the truther community, so expect deep discussions, mind-blowing revelations, and connections with like-minded truth seekers.
If you feel like the truth is being hidden from you, this is where you need to be.
And the best part, it's 100% grassroots, built by truthers for truthers, straight from our Skiba News Nation family. TrutherCon will be a massive networking event. I believe this is going to be the most exciting truther event ever.
October 2025 in Dallas, Texas. We hope to see you there.
You guys make sure to check out TrutherCon. It's coming up quick.
It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, just wait for the guests that we're about to announce. It's gonna be pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I think Elon just took over my brain for a split second.
Yeah, somewhere in the world, he was like, beaming his thoughts across the internet to you.
Maybe, you know that clip of him in the White House and he's by the Oval Office and his eyes are going all crazy? What if he was like practicing for something?
Yeah. Or maybe he has a Neuralink already, and while he was in that press room, in the big rotunda, his eyes were going everywhere. He was actually flying a drone outside. He was like, I'd rather be in the clouds right now. And he like beamed his mind into a drone.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but your mic's off, by the way.
I said, I think he is a android.
Oh, yeah. Totally could be. I believe it. But yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. And yeah, we'll do it again. Our schedule might be a little bit different this upcoming Saturday, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing TrutherCon and stuff. So y'all stay tuned. We're probably gonna have a special or a live stream for this coming Friday, and then we might do something also on Saturday at Hebrew Fest. Sorry. Yeah.
Sweet.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for being here. See you later.
Hey, drop a like, you 200 plus people that are watching right now. It helps us out. Have a good night.
Bye.
Adios, amigos.